Have you ever felt like you were living your life for someone else? Like their approval was the sun your world revolved around? I know I have. For the longest time, my life was a performance, and the audience was just one person. His gaze was the mirror I used to see myself. I'd choose my clothes based on what he liked, style my hair the way he preferred, even mute my own laughter if I thought it was too loud for him. My opinions were reflections of his, my dreams were secondary to his ambitions. I existed within the boundaries he drew for me, and for a while, I thought that was love. I thought that shrinking myself to fit into his world was the price of admission for affection. It wasn't a sudden, dramatic explosion that broke the spell. It was a slow, quiet unraveling. It started with a tiny flicker of discontent, a question that I'd quickly push away. Who am I when he's not looking? The question was terrifying because I didn't have an answer. It was like looking into a mirror and seeing nothing but a vague outline. The person I was supposed to be was a stranger to me. This realization didn't come with anger at first. It came with a profound sadness, a mourning for a version of myself I had never even met. The first step I took was almost accidental. A friend invited me to a pottery class. My immediate thought was, he'll think that's silly. But then, a different thought, a whisper from that stranger within said, but what do you think? I went. My hands were covered in clay, fumbling and awkward. I made a lopsided, clumsy bowl that was objectively terrible. But as I held it, I felt a surge of something I hadn't felt in years. Pride. It was mine. I made it. It wasn't for his approval. It wasn't to impress him. It was just for me. That ugly little bowl became my first symbol of rebellion. That small act of defiance opened a floodgate. I started doing more things just for myself. I went on solo walks in the park, listening to my own music, not his. I started reading books he would have called frivolous. I reconnected with old friends he had subtly pushed away. Each step was a brushstroke, adding color and detail to the blank canvas of my identity. With every new experience, I felt a little more solid, a little more real. Of course, he noticed the changes. My newfound independence was a threat to the world he had so carefully constructed. He'd ask, "Why are you changing?" I liked you the way you were, and for the first time, I heard those words for what they were. It wasn't a compliment. It was a cage. He didn't love me. He loved the version of me that made him feel powerful, the one that validated his ego. He loved the reflection, not the person. The conversations became harder. My no became stronger. My opinions became louder. I stopped apologizing for taking up space. It was a battle, not just with him, but with the years of conditioning within myself that told me to be quiet, to be agreeable, to put his feelings first. There were moments of doubt, moments where the comfort of the familiar cage seemed tempting. It's easy to live for someone else's approval. The path is clearly laid out for you. Forging your own path is messy, uncertain, and sometimes incredibly lonely. During this time, I started journaling. I wrote down everything I was feeling, everything I was discovering about myself. I wrote about the things that made me happy, the things that made me angry, the dreams I had secretly kept locked away. Page by page, I was writing myself into existence. I was giving voice to the woman who had been silenced for so long. She loved bright colors. She had a loud, uninhibited laugh. She was passionate about social justice and loved cheesy pop music. She was complex and sometimes contradictory, and she was beautiful. The day I finally left was surprisingly calm. There were no dramatic shouts, no slammed doors. It was a quiet acknowledgement that we were on two different paths that can no longer run parallel. I packed my things, including my lopsided pottery bowl. As I walked out the door, I didn't look back. I wasn't running away from him anymore. I was walking toward myself. The freedom was both exhilarating and terrifying. For the first few weeks, I felt a phantom limb. the phantom feeling of his gaze on me. I'd catch myself wondering what he would think of a decision I was making. But with time, his voice in my head grew fainter and my own grew stronger. I learned to trust my own judgment, to be my own source of validation. I learned that my worth wasn't something to be granted by someone else. It was inherent. It was always there, just waiting for me to claim it. This journey wasn't about hating him. It was about loving myself. It's about breaking free not just from a person, but from the idea that you need anyone else's gaze to feel whole. Today, when I look in the mirror, I don't see a reflection of someone else's desires. I see me. I see my strengths and my flaws. I see a woman who fought her way back to herself. A woman who is the main character in her own story, not a supporting role in someone else's. And let me tell you, it's a story that's getting more and more exciting every single day. My world is no longer small and defined by someone else. It's vast and full of possibilities that I get to choose. If any of this resonates with you, if you feel like you're living in someone else's shadow, please know that you are not alone. And know that you have the strength to step into your own light. It starts with one small step. Maybe it's a pottery class, maybe it's a solo walk. Whatever it is, take it for you. You are worth discovering. The world is waiting for the real you to show up. Thank you so much for listening to my story. If you've been on a similar journey, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories about finding our way back to ourselves.